and our next event will probably be in January. We'll update you about that. Today, we're really pleased to have a senior executive from Fossil Group to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on retailing online and offline in Hong Kong and China. As I'm sure everyone knows, Fossil is a global American designer and manufacturer of apparel and watches and other fashion items. We are fortunate today to have Annemiek Ballesty, LSEM, otherwise known as AB to friends and colleagues, and that includes us now, to give us her insight of what's going on in Hong Kong and Asia generally. She's head of Asia Pacific Commercial. She's Senior Vice President at Fossil, based in Hong Kong, and she has spent, at least according to LinkedIn, over 18 years with Fossil. So AB, welcome, and thank you for participating, and proceed with your presentation, please.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. Joe-san, everyone, and I'll share my screen. Okay, Michelle, you'll have to disable, make me the host. Thank you. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, hopefully you can see.
Yes, I was muted. You can. Right. I might make one point. So this, the presentation probably lasts around 20-25 minutes, and we'll do Q&A afterwards. If you have questions, please note them in the Q&A box. The chat box is disabled, but the Q&A box is there. So we'll monitor those and ask questions following AB's presentation. The webinar will be recorded, is being recorded. And so anything you say might be shared elsewhere afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So thanks for the introduction. So yes, I've been with Fossil for 18 years and spent the last 12 years in working out of both the Hong Kong and the China office. Prior to this role, I spent 8 years running China for Fossil Group, working mostly out of Shanghai. So a little bit about Fossil. So we are a global company, American company, quoted on the NASDAQ, and we say we're at the point where fashion meets technology. So we have a wide range of fashion accessories, so traditional watches, smart watches, jewelry, leather goods, and we work with going the wrong way, with a range of brands. Some are house brands, so Fossil, Michelle, Misfit, Scargan, Zodiac are all house brands. And then we have multi-year global licensing agreements to manufacture watches and jewelry and distribute, and we market those. So under the brand names Michael Kors, Kate Spade, Emporio Armani, I think there's quite a few New York fashion brands there. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Hong Kong and China and what the impact has been of COVID on those markets. And then really just discussing what the big trends we're seeing here coming out of COVID. So firstly, talk a little bit about Hong Kong. So if you have a look at the bottom right chart, you can see the sort of shopping slump we've experienced in Hong Kong. So we had about 8 months of protests prior to COVID hitting us. So retail's been very, very challenging in Hong Kong for the last 18 months. And even September month, you can see here still a 13% decline on the prior year. And that was on the protests in the year before. So retail are very, very challenging in Hong Kong. If you look at the chart on the left, you can see the rental drops in Hong Kong and in some of other cities around the region. And Hong Kong's by far the worst rental drop. Seeing a lot of empty stores around Hong Kong at the moment, primarily the luxury brands leaving, lots of empty watch stores. So it's a little bit sad, especially when you're walking along Canton Road and around Causeway Bay. It feels very quiet and empty. The top chart here is showing us Swiss watch exports, and again, Hong Kong is the worst performing out of the other markets. The top market, all the other markets are improving in October, and that's primarily because there was a big stop in the supply chain out of Switzerland. So France and China really benefiting from that, and Hong Kong seeing a decline. Skipping through to China. So again, some similar charts. So top left, we can see China retail sales. 2019 was a very strong retail year in China, 7 to 8% growth. And then coming to a really hard stop in January around Chinese New Year. The first 3 weeks of January was still great, and then it just dived. The good thing in China is it has turned around. So retail sales are now in the positive, around 3% for September, and I think it grew to 4% in October. So breaking even around August. That's still primarily being driven through e-commerce. I think retail is still soft. We're certainly at offline retail a little bit below the break-even number in China, but e-commerce is doing exceptionally well. So China is a big e-com market. It's the largest globally and has grown from around 1% 10 years ago to over 50% of the globe. Just coming out of 11/11 or Singles Day earlier this month was very exciting. So Alibaba did $74 billion in 11 days. The length of the festival was a little bit longer. So previously we'd always worked on one day. And this year it ran from the 1st of November to the 11th, but still really strong results. And JD not far behind at 40 billion. And some really crazy numbers. Over 500,000 orders being taken a second on Alibaba. And JD was able to deliver over 90% of its packages within 24 hours. Just phenomenal supply chain there as well. Globally, 44% of global e-commerce is owned by Chinese companies. 4 Chinese companies, according to Forbes, and 2 of them belong to Alibaba, so Tmall and Taobao. And then we also have JD in there, which is part of Tencent's group, and Pinduoduo, which is also growing very rapidly. Bottom right, you can see the cross-border business. So this is where e-commerce is being shipped into China. And this is extremely a big part of our Hong Kong business. So we're importing into China through Tmall, through JD, through VIP. Also, Koala is a big cross-border e-commerce platform that Ali acquired last year. So is slowly now being integrated into Tmall. And a lot of the local brands are jumping onto this bandwagon. So here you see Sasa as well. So over 300% they saw a massive jump across the National Day holiday through their e-commerce site, Koala. So shipping into China. So even if the tourists aren't coming to Hong Kong, Hong Kong's making full use of these cross-border businesses. So this was a meme. It's been doing the rounds for a little while. Who led digital transformation in your company? Was it your CEO, your CTO, or was it actually COVID-19? Well, I think for Fossil Group and probably for many of the companies around the region, COVID has put digital transformation on steroids. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the big trends we're sort of seeing, particularly in this region. Now, some of these apply globally as well. So it's how do we link online to offline, O to O. Talking more local, less global is a big trend we're seeing, and that's applying as much to product marketing as tools and apps. Being more mobile enabled. the rise of live streaming. It's all about the short video. So this is content focused, a boom in domestic tourism, and also a